Hello everybody, my name is Soul, and today I'll be giving a quick guide to Deathslinger's add-ons. So I am going to try to make this as quick as I can, but I also don't want to gloss over any important details. So you can use the video chapters found in the description below to skip around in the video. So I'm going to be breaking this up into two sections. The first being an explanation of all of Slinger's add-ons, along with some brief opinions on their usability. In the second section, where I'll explain a few common add-on combinations, which I'll be referring to as Slinger's meta build, very strong build, and some situationally useful builds. Now, before we really get into things, you might be wondering who I am to be making this guide. So I am someone who has been playing DBD since around 2018. I played on and off with little real interest in the game until about the beginning of 2020, when I found Ottstarva on Twitch. My first killer and main killer was Huntress, but then Deathslinger released a few months later that year, and I was just hooked on his playstyle. So I am a rank 1 killer player and a high MMR killer main, with most of my hours split between Deathslinger and Huntress. Though you'll find me playing a variety of killers here on the channel, as I am wanting to branch out a bit. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's get into explaining Slinger's add-ons. We're going to start with his Iridescent add-ons and work our way down to his brown add-ons. So the first one we'll go over is Hellshire Iron. So Hellshire Iron, what it does is when anytime you spear a survivor, you gain the undetectable status effect. The undetectable status effect hides the killer's aura, terror radius, and red stain. You keep this effect for 10 seconds after the survivor is no longer speared. Usability-wise, it is the weaker of Slinger's Iri add-ons, and it's very situational. You might consider running it in a stealth Slinger build, but that'll be up to you. His second Iri is Iridescent Coin. Anytime Slinger spears a survivor from at least 12 meters away, they are inflicted with the exposed status effect for as long as they remain speared. Exposed survivors are survivors that will be downed by basic attacks even if uninjured, so it's an instant down. So this is the stronger of Slinger's Iri add-ons, and it was actually buffed from what it was originally. So originally, Iri Coin only activated if a survivor was 16 meters away, which was very hard to use because Slinger only has an 18-meter range with his gun. So this is something that is definitely better. Usability-wise, definitely run it if you want to have fun, but this is a Iri that is very hard to use consistently and to consistently get value. Barbed Wire. So Barbed Wire, essentially it just increases the survivor's mend time by 3.5 seconds. So anytime Slinger shoots someone, whether the chain breaks or whether you get your first hit, you're always going to be putting the survivors into the mending status effect. So usability wise, this is actually a good add-on, but you're going to find as we go through the rest of these add-ons that you might not want to run this as much as other add-ons. Next is going to be Bayshore's Cigar. So Bayshore's Cigar, what it does, it decreases the stun duration when survivors break free from the chain by 1 second. This is a very, very strong add-on for Slinger. And you're gonna see why when we get to the second section. But essentially, Slinger's current stun duration is 3 seconds. It was buffed, because originally Slinger had a 4-second stun duration when survivors broke free, now it's 3 seconds. So this add-on essentially gives you a 2-second stun. And yeah, usability-wise, it's a very, very strong add-on. Alright, so the next one's gonna be Gold Creek Whiskey. So Gold Creek Whiskey decreases Slinger's terror radius by 8 meters while aiming down the Redeemer's sights. So the Redeemer being Deathslinger's gun. So Slinger has a 32-meter terror radius. So this was actually nerfed. Slinger originally had a 28-meter terror radius. But this add-on, usability-wise, it is an okay add-on, but it's also a very niche add-on. It requires you to play in a very specific way, so unless you're running a stealth slinger build or something along those lines, its usability is not very great. The next one we're going to be going over is Prison Chain. So what Prison Chain does is that it increases the time required for a survivor to break free from the spear by 10%. Usability-wise, this is a very, very strong add-on, as it can create, well, it makes safe loops very unsafe. So Deathslinger at his current level of power, without add-ons, without perks, his main strength is that he's able to create unsafe loops from safe loops. Or I should say unsafe pallets from safe pallets. What Prison Chain does, it even makes that gap way significant. So running this is always a strong choice. Alright, so the next one we're going to be going over is Bayshore's Gold Tooth. So what this add-on does is that it increases the Redeemer's reeling speed by 9%. So, you might be reading this, or hearing me read this, and think, wow, this is a really great add-on. You know, increasing the reel speed, you know, it's going to give me a better chance of hitting the survivor, it's going to be great. Do not ever run this add-on, do not ever run any add-on that increases reeling speed. They are bugged and do not work. So yeah, my opinion on the usability is don't even bother purchasing it from the Blood Web. The next one is going to be Honey Locust Thorns. So what this does is that anytime a survivor breaks free from the chain, it inflicts them with Mangled. So I won't go into how you're going to use this because it's very specific. Even me as a Deathslinger main, I don't run this because it's too much. But essentially, anytime a survivor breaks free from the chain, they're going to be inflicted with the Mending and Mangled. So you're just increasing the time it takes for a survivor to basically get back to full health. And also keep in mind that this only activates when a survivor breaks free from the chain. Alright, so the next one we're going to be going over is Tin Oil Can. So what Tin Oil Can does is it decreases the Redeemer's miss cooldown by 0.5 seconds. So usability wise, this is a good add-on if you find yourself missing your shots. The next one is going to be Wanted Poster. So Wanted Poster increases movement speed by 2.5% while aiming down the Redeemer's sights. So looking at this, your first thought might be, this seems like a good add-on. And my honest opinion is that yes, it is an okay add-on. The issue I have with it is that Deathslinger does not need movement speed. Oftentimes, you'll be getting your shots on a survivor that are on a pallet. And in those moments, you really don't need a movement speed. Slinger's base movement speed is just fine. So this add-on is more like a comfort pick. It does give you value, but Slinger really doesn't need it. Warden's Keys. So this is what I would call Slinger's best green add-on. Warden's Keys, it decreases the Redeemer's reload time by 0.5 seconds. Comparing and contrasting this with Tin Oil Can, if you are someone that hits your shots consistently, Warden's Keys will always give you more value than Tin Oil Can. So chewing tobacco. Chewing tobacco is the baby version of Bayshore's Cigar. Chewing tobacco decreases the stun duration when survivors break free by 0.5 seconds. So before we get into any more of Slinger's yellow add-ons, I'm just gonna spoil and say this is his best yellow add-on. Anything that decreases the stun duration is gonna be the best of the best for Slinger. Jaw Smasher. Jaw Smasher increases movement speed by 1% while aiming down the Redeemer's sights. So it is the yellow version of the wanted poster. And my opinion is still very much the same. You don't really need it, but if you like it, go ahead and run it. There's no problem with it. Alright, so the next one we're going to be going over is Marshal's Badge. So this is the baby version of Gold Creek Whiskey. What Marshal's Badge does, it decreases the terror radius by 4 meters while aiming down the Redeemer's sights. And my opinion is much the same as Gold Creek Whiskey. It's not something you're going to be running unless you're going for a stealth slinger build, as it requires you to play in a very specific way that's not especially valuable if you don't do that. Next one is Poison Oak Leaves. So Poison Oak Leaves is the baby version of Barbed Wire. So it increases the survivor's mend time by 1.5 seconds. And my opinion is, again, the same. I think it is a very good add-on if run in a very specific way. Next one is Rusted Spike. What Rusted Spike does is anytime you shoot a survivor, you reel them in, you hit them. That survivor is inflicted with the Mangled status effect. So, usability. If we're comparing the Rusted Spike to its upgraded add-on, Honey Locust Thorns. So my opinion is that both add-ons are good. It really just depends on what you're doing the majority of the time. I would say that the green add-on, Honey Locust Thorns, is better, but both of these are very good if you are a beginning Deathslinger player and you don't really have a lot of good perks. Since both these add-ons could replace the perk like Sloppy Butcher, which is a good perk to run if you, well, like I said, if you are new and don't have actually decent perks. So for his brown add-ons, we're going to start with Modified Ammo Belt. And spoiler, this is his best brown add-on, because as you can see, it decreases the reload time by 0.25 seconds. So you'll often find me in my videos running this because I am actually out of Warden's keys. So I will most often run Warden's keys or Modified Ammo Belt. The next one is Rickety Chain. So all of the killers have a brown add-on that is a self-nerf. Typically you nerf yourself or your power in order to get more blood points. That's what Rickety Chain does. So it grants 50% bonus blood points for the Speared Score event. The Speared Score event refers to any time Slinger shoots a survivor and connects with the spear. But in return, survivors break free 33% faster. If you are using this add-on, it's actually a decent add-on for getting more blood points. Just understand that you're not going to be able to do a lot of things that Slinger is actually strong at doing. Snake Oil. Snake Oil increases the Redeemer's railing speed by 5%. Don't even bother purchasing this on the Blood Web. Spit Polish Ray decreases the Redeemer's miss cooldown by 0.25%. This is the baby version of Tin Can Oil. And again, my opinion is the same. Alright, now that we're done orienting ourselves with what Slinger's add-ons are, let's get into explaining his most common add-on combinations. But before that though, if you found this video helpful, take a moment to consider hitting that like button. It'll help me out and give me the motivation to continue making more content. Maybe even more educational content around Slinger. So for Slinger's first add-on combination, we're going to be discussing what I consider to be his meta tryhard, his meta tryhard build. So what that's going to be is Bayshore Cigar, mixed with chewing tobacco. So originally, Deathslinger had a 4-second stun anytime a survivor broke free from the chain. With his recent changes, they've actually buffed it to 3 seconds. So what these two add-ons do decreases Slinger's stun duration to 1.5 seconds, so half of what it is at base value. This is exceptionally strong on Slinger because what you can do is you can shoot a survivor, pull them away from anything that can help them get away from you, and by the time you are done with your stun animation, you can just chase them and secure the kill. So it very much limits what the survivors can do after you've shot them. So if they don't have something like Dead Hard, it's essentially on you if they get away. So very strong. So for Slinger's other strong add-on combinations, I would say anything that starts with Warden's keys. So Warden's keys and Prison Chain is a very strong combination. Both of these being just a very strong add-on to run by themselves or with something else. You could also choose something like Warden's keys and chewing tobacco, Warden's keys and Bayshore Cigar, Warden's keys and basically anything. Warden's keys is going to be something that I feel any Deathslinger main should always run. That or the modified ammo belt, which is just the weaker version of Warden's keys. And finally, for situational builds. So situational builds is going to be something like this: Gold Creek Whiskey and Marshal's Badge. So as you can see, this is situational because you're basically going Stealth Slinger, and Stealth Slinger would require something like Monitor and Abuse. So to put it in context, Gold Creek Whiskey reduces Slinger's 32 meter terror radius by 8 meters. Marshal's Badge reduces it an additional 4 meters. Monitor and Abuse decreases it by 8 more meters when you're out of chase, but increases it by 8 meters when in chase. So if you are out of chase and you are running these two add-ons with Monitor and Abuse, you essentially have a 14 meter terror radius, which is the second lowest terror radius in the game. The first being a tier 1 Michael Myers or a tier 1 shape, which is 6 meters. Why this is powerful on paper: Deathslinger is the only ranged killer to not have a Lullaby. When I say that, I am not including Plague as a ranged killer, even though technically she is, but besides the point. So essentially, if you are walking around the map with your aim down sights up the entire time, you can sneak up on survivors. The reason this is situational is while you are having your sights up the entire time, your speed is slowed. And honestly, after the first time you get value from this, you're probably not going to get value from it ever again, as the survivors are going to be more aware of what you're doing. At least decent survivors should, at least. And probably I would be remiss to not include Iridescent Coin into my add-on combinations. So Iridescent Coin, what I would recommend for this is Iri Coin and Tin Oil Can. So this I feel is going to give you the best of value for using Iri Coin. And I say this because when I use Iri Coin, I do not get value from it a lot of the time. In a match, I'll probably get 1 or 2 instances of value, which, in my opinion, for an iridescent add-on is absolutely atrocious. So I would never run Iri Coin. I would never run Iri Coin even as a meme, because it's just a waste of an add-on slot. But it will give you that brief moment of satisfaction of memeing on someone with Iri Coin. So something like Iri Coin with Tin Oil Can, Iri Coin with Warden's Keys, Iri Coin with, well, basically anything. But I would probably recommend something like Warden's Keys or Prison Chain, because at least then you're going to have a backup plan of getting some value. Alright, and with that, we are done with this video. So if there's anything in this video that has left you with more questions than answers, feel free to leave your questions in the comments section below and I will get to them. I will answer. But yeah, I wanted to make this video a under 20-minute video for accessibility reasons and for respect of people's time. I personally don't think Slinger is very hard to learn, and I don't think that a lot of his add-ons are spectacular. As you can see from the rest of this video, there's really only a couple of add-ons that you should really be running at any given time. But with that, I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.